हमेशा हम किसी से भी बात करते तो ये चीज़ हमेशा उभर के आती है, यार पहले जैसे गाने नहीं बनते। ऐसा नहीं है कि आज अच्छे गाने नहीं बनते, ऐसा नहीं है कि अच्छा संगीत नहीं बन रहा है। क्या है जो छूट गया है, आपको क्या लगता है?
गुलजार साहब का एक इंटरव्यू था, आई लव व्हाट ही सेड, दिस इज नॉट माय वर्ड्स, दिस इज हिज वर्ड्स। समवन आस्क्ड हिम द सेम क्वेश्चन, सर पुराने ज़माने के गाने आज भी गुनगुनाते हैं, आजकल क्यों नहीं बन रहे ऐसे? फिर तब भी बहुत घटिया गाने बनते थे, दे डिडंट स्टैंड द टेस्ट ऑफ टाइम, ओनली द गुड सॉन्ग्स स्टूड द टेस्ट ऑफ टाइम, दैट्स द वंस दैट यू रिमेंबर। ऐसा नहीं कि तब खराब गाने नहीं बनते थे, तब भी खराब गाने बनते थे। अभी द मल्टीप्लिकेशन फैक्टर इज 100,000 फॉर both sides. That's the amount of music coming out. So अच्छे गाने भी बन रहे हैं, खराब गाने भी बन रहे हैं. There are different kinds of instruments being used, different kinds of sensibilities, different kinds of lyrics. Earlier music was in films was a little more over the top because you're singing as a hero, that you're living up to that persona. Today you're keeping it as real as possible. So that there's going to be different. That's why things are montage. कि suddenly हमें लगता है कि फिल्म में क्यों देख रहे हैं कि लड़का गा रहा है, unless it's a situation where that person is a singer and he's singing it as a part of what he does. Suddenly मतलब पेड़ों को छूते हुए गा क्यों रहा है बंदा? So that you don't get it now. But in those films you can still see and enjoy it because that was that time. And it's not a good versus bad. It's just sensibilities of filmmaking, sensibilities of music making have changed, and tastes of people when they're listening to music. So ऐसा good bad कुछ नहीं. I completely disagree with that statement only. अभी भी बहुत अच्छी म्यूजिक बनती है.
I said that, but I think it's also about पहले जितना संगीत बनता था उससे मतलब 40 गुना 400 गुना संगीत बज रहा है ना, तो बन रहा है. सॉरी,
if you're just talking about film music, people not like classical music or because classical music I think it's such a Indian classical music where people have to go through a certain drill in life and train for years with the guru, then only you're allowed to sing. So which is, but in film music I think those days people were really invested in creating that music, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, sure.
I feel that when you're making the music of Guide, Vijayanand, the way he shoots his songs, then there is Sahil is writing or S.D. Burman is composing, they're all sitting in a room and सबको उठा के ले गए किसी पहाड़ों में और बैठ के म्यूज़िक कहानी के साथ जोड़ रहे हैं. So that has to live forever I think, you know. और या अगर मुगल आज़म के गाने हैं या कोई भी इस तरह की फिल्में, और वो आप कोई भी अच्छी फिल्म उठा के देखेंगे, गाना भी उतना ही अच्छा है, कहानी भी उतनी अच्छी है और अभिनय भी उतना ही अच्छा है, बिकॉज पीपल आर इन्वेस्टेड. अभी एवरीथिंग इज डन सेपरेटली. कि
सॉफ्टवेयर हैव टेकन ओवर, टेक्नोलॉजी इज टेकन ओवर,
इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है.
हाँ, even that situation, I mean, it's a different approach, right? Like he said right at the beginning, that this film we are so invested in it, we just knew. Like when we sat last time for with the songs, and I was just telling him, we just went out, and I was saying, यार 4 घंटे में चारों गाने बन गए. 4 घंटे नहीं, ये 4 साल से you lived that script.
चल रहा है.
That's why at the final fruit of that has come out.
It's constantly at the back of the mind.
There, and
yeah,
it's absolutely right. It's the fact that we are living with it, and that's why we probably haven't had fights also, because we are thinking in the same direction.
But it just feels right.
Yeah.
It just feels
So
right.
it's
Otherwise he wouldn't call me and tell me he's someone who's not say कि अरे गाना हो गया है कि shape दो. He also told me if you don't like something at any stage you have to stop me. You have the right to do that. I said yeah, and I would not say yes if it's not good, because I have investment is in this story for 5 years, and there's so many responsibilities. So I know that if he calls me and tells me that this is it, then this is it. You know, and when Abbas writes something, like I had one day Abbas sir wrote something and they have worked as music director later. इन्होंने उसने कुछ ऐसे सोचा, इन्होंने हाँ वैसे कर, मतलब रुको भाई मेरे को सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. तो क्या हुआ बोला ना कि 3 लोग मिले बस स्टॉप पे और 2 लोग आगे चले गए.
अरे
पीछे
मैं भी था,
मैं छूट गया. तो इन्होंने कुछ बनाया ना, हाँ ये वो ऐसे करके हाँ. तो मैंने बोला नहीं, मुझे सुनना पड़ेगा कि मुझे कि इनको पढ़ाते हुए शब्द सुनाई दे गया, उनको लिखते हुए म्यूजिक सुनाई दे गया और मैं रह गया. तो वो एक थोड़ा सा बोलते ना पापा मम्मी चले गए आगे बच्चा पीछे रह गया. But that was like a funny thing, but then again it came together and that song was so, I mean अब सुनेंगे जब ये रिलीज होगी.
As an actor काम करना and then you know changing from in front of the camera, changing your position, going in back of the camera, at the back of the camera. How did this transition happen, and how easy or difficult it is for you?
Actually, the difficult part of it is convincing people to get it made. The most difficult part. This is easy. Like, this is because this is fun. This is what I want to do, and that whole energy goes about in convincing people that this is what I want to tell. But rest of it is all easy and fun. वो गाने लिख रहे हैं, आ रहे हैं, खाना खा रहे हैं, visualize कर रहे हैं, paper लग रहा है. All that is fun. So my inspiration is because when I started acting in films, because I am a theatre actor and I have always been on stage, and I have been directing plays since ever with various actors. So I have been directing plays various, and that actually one day I was listening to this one interview by विशाल भारद्वाज. मैं बहुत करीबी हैं मेरे इंसान और मैं उनको गुरु मानता हूँ. तो विशाल जी के इंटरव्यू में मैं रात को बैठ के देख रहा था. उन्होंने बोला, तो सईद नकवी, this famous journalist, he asked him कि but Vishal, why did you start making films? Like a music director, why are you making films? So he said that after marches and everything, even after Satya, nobody gave him work, the kind of music he was making, right?
मैं ही फिल्म बना देता हूँ.
तो बोलते मैं ही फिल्म बनाता हूँ. So that's what he said. So that's sort of that idea stayed in my head. But actually the reason is that when I started watching good films when I was around 25, 26. The first good film I saw was Pink Panther. उससे पहले तो मैं ये 90s के वो फिल्में देखता था और हिंदी फिल्में, और यही मेरी वोकैबुलरी थी, और नाटक. फिल्में ये जो था वर्ल्ड सिनेमा, वो मुझे बहुत बाद में मिला. तो मैंने पहली बार पीटर सेलर्स को देखा, मतलब ये क्या हो रहा है. फिर मुझे किसी ने बोला कि सम गाय कॉल्ड स्टैनली क्यूब्रिक. अच्छा, फिर मैं वो देखा. हाँ, तो मैंने उसकी फिल्म देखी. फिर किसी ने बोला ये भी है, वो भी है, ऐसा भी. देन उसके बाद मैं आई थिंक अगले 10 साल में सिर्फ फिल्में ही देखता गया, लाइक किताबों की तरह. मतलब फिल्में खरीदना देखना. एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड व्हेन आई वाज एक्टिंग विद द डायरेक्टर्स आई वर्कड विद सम रियली गुड हिंदी फिल्म डायरेक्टर्स लाइक विशाल जी, इम्तियाज़ and Nikhil Advani, Nandita Das, Subhash Ghai, Buddhadev Das Gupta, Sanjay Gupta. Everybody had a different way of making films, and I used to be on the set, not sitting in my van. I used to be on the set and try to understand what is happening. How are they like if I read a script, I've read the script. Now I'm just invested as an actor, but then I started looking at the third perspective कि ये यहीं क्यों काटा, इतना ही क्यों हो रहा है, कैमरा उधर क्यों जाना है. I found it very interesting. Like अगर पहली बार आप सेट पे होंगे तो लगा कि यार इधर कैमरा किया, उधर क्यों चला गया, वहाँ क्यों क्या कर रहे हैं. Then your performance, like I think I started to become a very good film actor, because theatre acting doesn't really work for film acting, for sure.
Yeah,
It doesn't, because you're loud, right? And then I started understanding
that subtleness,
the concept of camera, and when it comes close, how much. So this is a very beautiful interview by Michael Caine on film acting, and he's explained over an hour how to act in compared, like according to lens acting, like if it's close, it's far, and then throughout the day you are like doing the same thing. How you keep it fresh, right? Stage पे आप गए, आपने कर दिया एक बार में, लेकिन फिल्म एक्टिंग इतना आसान नहीं है. एक उसमें कंटिन्यूटी ऑफ इमोशन नहीं होता है. आप पहले दिन आपने माँ को मरते हुए देख लिया, अब अगले दिन आप नाच रहे हैं, समझ रहे हैं आप. तो ये जो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स एक्टिंग होती है फिल्म की, तो ये मुझे समझ आ गया जब मैं स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ने लगा कि अच्छा एक्टिंग ऐसे करना है, लेंस के हिसाब से करना है, लाइट भी लेनी है और एडिटिंग भी समझनी है, समझ रहे हैं आप. तो फिर मैं एडिटिंग समझने लगा कि एडिटिंग कैसे करते हैं. एंड देन व्हेन पीपल से अरे बट यू आर एक्टिंग एंड डायरेक्टिंग, हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल, आई सेड इट्स नॉट डिफिकल्ट, because when I'm acting, I'll just be acting, because by then I've already decided where the camera will go. And camera DOP उस ज़माने में जब शुरू में सिनेमाटोग्राफर जब शूट करता था तो डायरेक्टर को नहीं देखता, रशेस सिर्फ वही देखता था. डायरेक्टर एक्टर के पास बैठ के एक्टर को सुनता है, मॉनिटर पे नहीं बैठते वो. पहले ज़माने में कि when महबूब खान is directing his actors, he is moving with the camera and he is looking into his actor's eyes, कि वो easy feeling the right and this is cut. एक ही शॉट है. उस टाइम पे ये आपको लग्जरी ये भी नहीं था कि आप 15 टेक ले रहे हैं, आप 16 टेक ले रहे हैं. तो मैं भी एक ही 2 टेक ही लेता हूँ, क्योंकि एक्टर्स आर सो वेल रिहर्स्ड, आई वांट दैट यू जस्ट फ्लो, एंड कैमरा इज जस्ट फॉलोइंग इट, एंड देन एडिटिंग. सो इट्स नॉट रियली डिफिकल्ट, बिकॉज बट ओवर द इयर्स आई लर्नड इट while acting, while looking at the directors, being on set, like, and every director has their own way of storytelling. Some people cut too much. Like Buddhadev Das Gupta, this amazing avant-garde filmmaker, I had the privilege to work with his last 2 films. And then I started watching, I had seen his films when I was a kid, but when I was acting with him, I started watching his films again. And I started understanding where he keeps his camera and why his camera is like that. And then when I compared that kind of shot taking when I was acting, the whole film is shot in one lens, 32, and 18 days and 2 shots a day. So you will only shot in the morning and you will only shoot in the evening. ठीक है?
इस पर the light.
उसमें क्या होता है? उसमें रिहर्सल चाहिए होती है. Everybody is glued in. It's not that whole day of shooting. ये सीन हुआ, वो सीन ऐसे नहीं. वो पूरा एक रिहर्सल होता था और फिर एक टेक होता था. पैकअप. फिर सुबह 4 बजे बुलाते थे. ठीक 6:30 बजे शॉट होता था. 8:30 बजे पैकअप. दिन भर कुछ नहीं. So and it was magic because and his camera used to come from somewhere and that comes from theatre. When you can choreograph a scene, when you can, and if you understand lens, I think theatre directors, if they turn into filmmakers, can be very interesting because they can choreograph a scene. If they understand the lensing part of it, then it just and there are some really good theatre directors who became film directors also. No? So there's this one guy called John Cassavetes. He sort of is the father of American independent filmmaking, and his films, there's one film called Opening Night, and he was an actor, director, an independent filmmaker. मतलब उनको कभी पैसे नहीं होते थे फिल्म बनाने के. So I got inspired a lot with his filmmaking, John Cassavetes, like a theatre guy making films, and there was a lot of theatre in his film. Like he shot in theatre, So and his Truffaut had his own theatre experiences while he was writing for journals. So it all, I think when I look back, that there was a reason I was doing theatre, there was a reason I was working with different filmmakers, and it's not that I've stopped acting, it's just another form of expression I am doing, and because I have so much to do as an actor now, I feel, so that's about it.
That was a very good answer, I think. I mean, I at least got to learn a lot of
Same
things
here.
yeah, and you suddenly start thinking हाँ अच्छा ऐसे भी देख सकते हैं या ऐसा भी सोच सकते हैं, it was very
मेरे
nice.
सारे को-एक्टर्स कंप्लेन करते हैं सेट पे कि मुझे सुन ही नहीं पाते हैं, बिकॉज मैं चाहता ही नहीं वो तू सुन मेरे को.
I know what you mean, yeah.
बिकॉज एक बार अल पचिनो डॉग डे आफ्टरनून कर रहा था, उसने सीन किया, सबने ताली बजा दी, तो बोला ये क्या हो रहा है, ताली बजा रहे हैं, ब्राइटी बामा के पास गया, भाई ताली क्यों बजा रहे हैं ये लोग, बोला क्या परफॉर्मेंस है, बोला क्या परफॉर्मेंस है, ये सुन कैसे रहा है मेरी बात, मैं तो कैमरा के लिए एक्टिंग कर रहा हूँ ना, आई एम लाइक talking to the camera. Marlon Brando,
You're not on stage, you're not.
Hear Marlon Brando.
Throw नहीं है वहाँ पे.
And then
yeah, the cat.
Like, people then, and I say you have to have really high sensitivity focus in scene to hear each other. You can't be making each other hear each other, because I think that's film acting. Theatre में तो ठीक है, वहाँ खड़ा था जोर से अपने आवाज़ फेंकी तो उसने सुना, फिर आपने आवाज़ फेंकी, तो ये सब है. Complex, but it's very interesting world. I think
it is very interesting.
world.
Yeah, very, very intriguing. Mohan, of course, you have done a lot of music for films as well. But being associated with this project, everything is on your shoulders. What's your process? I know it's a cliched question, but I want to know. Because I know I'm going to get some very quirky response. So I asked. I know you.
No, but for us typically, because I am used to also composing for Agni, Coco and I both compose, and we get ideas. So we start with that. So it's not necessarily lyrically first. Sometimes I like composing to a lyric first. But in this case, at least for this film, the process was a lot to do with the character. So what kind of character are we looking at? Are we looking at this? And what stage of the story is that character in? Are we joining this character? Is this song coming at a place where the character is not very sure of her singing? Let's say the playback singer, the main character. Is she not sure of her singing? Is there something where she she's learned but अभी तक कच्ची है, बहुत talent है लेकिन कच्ची है. लेकिन बाद में जाके she'll get better throughout the film and her delivery will be.
भाषा में भी गड़बड़ है.
भाषा में भी शायद. So these are the things that you consider at that point. That how do you showcase someone? You're not going to take a kacha singer for part 1 and then take another singer for part 2. It just doesn't work like that. You first of all you cast a voice for the person. Like this is back to days of old, where Kishore Kumar used to sing for Amitabh Bachchan sahab or for Rajesh Khanna, Devansh. So like that you cast a voice. That's the first thing. Then on top of that, then you say as a composition, I want to keep this composition slightly different because that singer the singer we've cast right now can sing anything. So if I try to get her to be Kacha, then I'll have to give her something very, very random, which is not what we want to do. So create a song in a zone where, okay, we can showcase certain things, take it out of her key a little bit and make that happen. Can we create a song like that without doing injustice to a singer? Are we like, ऐसा भी नहीं करना कि खराब सुनाई थी. So we create a song like that. Then we are following the story. Why is this person singing a song at this situation? What is the backstory? Might not be shown in the film, might not be in the script, but create it and say that, okay, अभी ये क्यों सोच रही है, ये क्यों गा रही है? These kind of situations. That's what happened with this film, where every song was made with that kind of an idea, not just an idea कि normally in films what we will do is we'll say, okay, this situation is a romantic situation, so we create a love song for it. इसमें क्या feelings है उनके, बस वो ठीक है, लड़की छोड़ के चली गई, or he wants her back, or they're going through a sad time, or whatever it is, they're celebrating love. Here, the entire film is in every song because it's a journey, and the idea that we spoke about last time when we went through most of the songs was that we should release the songs in the same order. So that at least if I'm able to get into, if Abbas, me, all of us put together, if we're able to get into a situation where the songs are even telling the story themselves, आपको गाना सुनते हुए लग रहा है कि हाँ, I'm getting an idea of the
कहानी
story.
आगे बढ़ रही है.
That's great, and it has to be in that order. You know how it, there's a song that you'll hear in two versions, when it comes right in the beginning and right at the end. So that's my bookend. So then everything has to go according to that. So that's how this film's music was created. Most of the time it was much more to do with, am I telling the story correctly? Am I telling the character? Am I building a character correctly? That's all. And then after that, Abbas is insane. And jitne bhi bolo kam hai. Thankfully he's not here, so we can say good things about him. Otherwise, what is the way he will weave a character, like remember that the first song which I'm talking about, which will come in two versions. He's written 6 lines. That's it. The Mukhda is just 6 lines. He's written those 6 lines. It feels like the entire film is in those 6 lines. It's just that. It's like what Amitabh did with Kahani and Lal Singh Chadda. That's it. That's what this is. 6 lines, the story is done. It's a metaphorical writing about a little stream, but it's as if it's the playback singer's journey through the film. And he's just brilliant like that. So when you have people like that working for you, you're working with you, with you, you're always looking, every time you're faced with it, Are ye kya bolde? Are ye kya kar diya? And that's the best way to work here. And then you're also thinking, no, let me change this around. I'm not living up to those words. I'm not living up to the story.
So you also push your limits.
You have to. You want to be at the same table tomorrow, and you want to be there contributing. You don't want to be there listening. So that's the great fun of this. Everyone pushes each other, and it's that zone ki, I want to impress these guys. It's that their mark of approval means something to me. It's not about मेरा music है मैं देख लूँगा, तुम अपना lyrics देख लो, तुम अपना visual देख लो. ऐसे होता तो हम लोग काम भी नहीं करते. Neither one, we would have not worked out. So that's the way this music has happened. So
I think art cannot be created from a comfort zone, ever. I mean, there has to be challenges. There has to be.
These are the good ones, yeah.
The pushing
the good challenges.
Yeah.
So आप तो journalist रह चुके हो. आप अपने दोस्तों को एक सवाल कीजिए.
Oh wow! नहीं भाई तुम.
This is the nice twist.
कल खाने में lunch में क्या बना रहे हो बताइए.
अच्छा मुझे भी चाय पीने का मूड कर तो बोलो चलो.
Oh, I have to ask questions?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was just a...
You're a journalist?
Back to your hot seat.
Take us under your wing and ask her to
ask people.
Okay, whom do I have to listen?
Why should you only be the one putting him in the spot?
Okay, I'll have a question for Chirantana. I have a question
this is
for her.
not fair. Okay.
The first time you interviewed a personality from the music fraternity.
How was it? Yeah, great.
How was it?
And who was it?
Remember,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been music fraternity. I remember interviewing KK after his show, and my editor said, "भाई KK हैं इधर और आपको ही करना पड़ेगा ये इंटरव्यू, किसी और को समझ में नहीं आएगा." मैंने बोला, अरे सर मैं तो नहीं हूँ, मेरा खुद का ही शो है, मैं कंपेयरिंग करने जा रही हूँ कहीं पे. And I was all decked up, and I went. Then I was so conscious because I had never gone like that to interview, and मतलब मैं मेरी वर्दी में होती हूँ यार, मेरे कंफर्टेबल कपड़ों में और मेरा कुर्ता और मेरा झोला और वो कलम वाली बाई टाइप्स लुक and whatever. And then I had no choice, but I went and he was like, you're a journalist. I was like, yeah. And then, but then of course it was after the show, and that interview was beautiful. It was very lovely, and yeah, something that stayed with me. And in fact next day I still, तब तो ये वाले smartphones थे नहीं, so और मैंने कार्ड वार्ड दिया था मेरा उनको. तो next day he texted that, very good questions girl. I said thank you very much. It was not an interview, I was a college student and गुलाम अली साहब आए थे बड़ौदा, उनका concert था. And of course I was going to go for the concert, but for some reason I wanted to meet him. I was learning Kathak then. You will not believe what I did. I still don't know how he agreed for that. I went with a tape recorder with my ghungroos. I danced on his ghazal in front of him.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
And after that, he was going down for breakfast or something like that, and he said, the best compliment I have ever got for my dancing, it came from him. He said, हम तो सिर्फ गज़ल गाते हैं, आज हमने जिंदा गज़ल देखी है.
Oi, oi.
Oh.
And I was like, I was blank.
Controversy.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying we're thinking about the character in the
Yeah,
scene,
yeah,
like
The lines,
good
lines.
insight into that character. The playback singer, that character is being played by a woman only, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what she's saying, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
कि
played
if
by a woman. It's not.
But your story was
but
amazing.
कहानी लिख रहे हैं आप, तो जो
लड़की का
भावनाएं,
पक्ष।
फेमिनिन भावनाएं होती हैं. Like imagine Ghulam Ali saying this to
my God.
a third year student जो
It
वो
never
पुराना वाला टक टक वाला टेप रिकॉर्डर लेकर मैं गई थी. मैंने बोला सर एक मिनट है, मैं जरा देख लेती हूँ कि वही वाली गजल बज रही है, मैं कहीं और डांस करके कुछ और ना बज जाए, तम्मा तम्मा ना बज जाए गुलाम अली का.
But these moments stay with you as journalists because like I remember the first time I was like got smacked with I mean Mr. Bachchan, first time you were interviewing him and he's putting you at ease, more than you want to put. And I mean you don't expect that from someone of that stature, right? Like you wouldn't expect that from
and
Ghulam Ali
there I
Sahab.
was not even as a journalist, so
Yeah, but I'm just saying that you
But
wouldn't
yeah.
expect of that stature someone who would tell you that. And every time I used to interview a celebrity in London, I would give my previous interview to them the next time I met them. So they have that paper because London, I don't know, my papers were never available in Mumbai. So I would hand it over to them as a like a.
And then of course I remember interviewing Mr. Mohan, Kannan and Coco.
And
And we are not going to
like one time.
तीर आता है
Direct
God,
Virar जाने वाली train. अच्छा, anyway, so
it was him. You should not have done that.
But so I gave Mr. Bachchan the previous interview I had done
Ji,
of his few months ago, and sir, this is it, and he has no reaction. After the interview got over, I am worried he's not accepted that. He comes close and he says, "Can I take this, please?" Giving it and him asking, "Can I take this interview back?" And these are moments. These are very special moments. Stay with you. Like someone's reading your work, I mean.
ऐसा कौन सा गाना है जो कहीं ना कहीं वो रहता है जहन में, मतलब पुराना है. I mean with me, I mean I feel that every person will have some song. वो रहता ही है. गलती से भी अकेले में गुनगुना है वही गाना निकलेगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि सुबह रेडियो पे सुना इसलिए गा रहे हैं. ऐसा कोई गाना है तो आप लोग जरा.
I mean, I always listen to it. I don't tell people, but today I am telling people. I listen to Walk of Life by Dire Straits.
Oh,
I just feel it just uplifts the mood
It changes
in the morning.
Yeah.
And even if I'm a little bit down and I put that song up, it's like we all. I mean, it's a walk of life.
yeah. That for me, same thing as Brand New Day, Sting, and Peter Gabriel's Shaking the Tree.
Oh, wow.
These songs are like start the morning and then your day set. Like, oh, wow, it's damn good fun. Nice.
Mine is U2 With or Without You.
Ah.
That was the first cassette, sort of English cassette I had bought in
Joshua
school.
Tree.
Yeah, Joshua Tree. Favorite, all-time favorite album. नहीं,
It's okay.
मैंने बोला तो मुझे एकदम से याद आया नहीं
Yeah,
क्या है.
yeah.
हाँ नहीं, मेरे को बोनो भगवान लगता था.
Yeah.
He's like a god.
Yes.
Yeah, these are.
मेरा है सावरे अपना Bandit Queen से.
Bandit.
Oh,
Nusrat
wow,
Saab.
what a.
My favorite, pretty much my favorite composition of all time. So that's it.
That's it. So that's it. चलो आप जाते जाते कुछ गुनगुना दीजिए.
सरकती जाए, सरकती 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 जाए, रुख से नकाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता निकलता रहा है आफताब, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता सरकती जाए, रुख से नकाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. Thank you.
Beautiful
Thank you.
finish to the
Thank you so much.
conversation.
It was lovely talking to you. I hope you
Thank you
all
for having
enjoyed
us.
the conversation. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.